this is my final presentation on the dangers of science denial, more specifically vaccines and the fabled link to autism. Course competency addressed in this presentation is student learning outcome number 2, which is to estimate future consequences implied in data gathered in the laboratory. Whether or not to vaccinate a child has been a red-hot topic of debate over the last few years. One illegitimate reason for this debate is that claim that autism is being caused by vaccinations. Approximately 57% of parents who are choosing not to vaccinate their children are doing so due to the link between autism and the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccination, also known as MMR. Regardless of the small number of parents opting their children out of vaccination, the impact this could have on the country isn't so small. Vaccinations were made specifically to stop the spread of deadly infectious diseases, so it is clear to see the huge problem with parents choosing not to vaccinate their children. Thanks to the MMR vaccination, those 3 diseases are non-existent in the United States. If parents continue to not vaccinate their children because of a claim that it will cause autism in their child, the likelihood that measles, mumps, and rubella will return to the United States increases significantly. Perhaps the main issue regarding parents not vaccinating their children is education, or lack thereof. Thanks to technology and social media, people believe whatever they see and hear. The internet may be the worst culprit of them all. A friend of a new parent may be browsing the internet and come across an article with a title such as "Autism Linked to Vaccinations," or any of these real-life titles from the internet. And without even going so far as to read the article, they will automatically jump to the conclusion that the article is truthful. Then this friend might call up their friend, who is a parent about to vaccinate their child, and tell them about the article that they didn't actually even read. People are so quick to jump to conclusions about anything and everything, and it is usually information based on word of mouth as opposed to fact. Making any sort of decision without first becoming educated in the matter is a poor choice, and in this case, a deadly one. Another issue regarding the vaccinations and autism debate is the threat of an outbreak of an infectious and deadly disease. Thanks to the MMR vaccination, measles, mumps, and rubella are virtually non-existent in the United States. Due to the fact that these diseases are so rare, it gives parents the green light not to vaccinate their children. In their minds, since these diseases no longer pose a threat to their children, then why should they get the vaccination and potentially put their child at risk for autism? This ludicrous rationalization backfired in December of 2014. What started as a family trip to the happiest place on earth, Disneyland, ended with 147 people contracting measles. Studies of the outbreak confirmed that a majority of the people who fell ill were not immunized against the disease. This also includes children who were too young to be vaccinated. Unfortunately, the Disneyland measles episode was not the only one to occur during that time. There were also reports of separate outbreaks from 24 states, including Washington, Nevada, and Illinois. The number of cases confirmed for January 1st through November 13th of 2015 totaled 189. Fortunately, no deaths were reported. However, all of this could have been avoided if vaccines were provided. The fact of the matter is that the MMR vaccination and all vaccinations don't cause autism. If a parent did their research on the topic of vaccinations and the link to autism, they would read credible articles, not Facebook ones, backing up this fact. According to Guy D. Eslick, Amy L. Swerdfeger, and Luke E. Taylor, there has been no quantitative data analysis confirming the relationship between autism, autistic spectrum disorder, and childhood vaccinations. I am sure there are still millions of skeptics asking themselves how it is possible to measure something like this and come to a conclusion. The 3 scientists mentioned above explain. Studies were included that looked at either MMR vaccination, cumulative mercury, or cumulative thimerosal dosage from vaccinations to ensure all proposed causes of ASD or regression were investigated. Outcome measures included development of any condition on the autistic spectrum, as well as those specifically looking at regressive phenotype. At this point in time, it has been scientifically proven that vaccines do not cause autism. The idea that these diseases don't exist anymore is also extremely false, as seen by the horrific events that occurred last December. The reason they had been dormant for so long was because children were getting vaccinated. If parents on the fence about vaccinations due to the autism claim spent the time to read the facts presented in the article titled, "Vaccines Are Not Associated with Autism, an evidence-based meta-analysis of case control and cohort studies," they would see that since the decline in childhood vaccinations, there has been a spike in the measles outbreaks, mainly in the United States, with 17 outbreaks in just 1 year. In my eyes, this debate is heading in the wrong direction, and it has potentially fatal consequences for everybody, especially those children whose parents refuse to get them vaccinated. There is legitimate evidence stating that autism is not linked to vaccines, and there is also data showing that measles is on the rise because of the lack of vaccinations. The logical action to take here is to get children vaccinated, since there is no risk, only reward and safety. Yet for some reason, even more parents are refusing vaccinations today than in past years. What needs to happen now is a mass education of the United States. Hopefully then, this madness will end, and these infectious diseases will go back to being non-existent. Thank you.